Hi guys, I'm gonna do a makeup video today. My makeup routine is pretty straightforward, though I've been told it's a vibe. So I'm gonna put it on video and see what you think. I'm not really gonna go over my makeup today. I am less picky about makeup as I get older because I really just don't wear makeup. And I personally don't feel like there are true organic makeup brands. There are some that do it well, but there's still, even the most natural, most organic, yada, 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 still use red dye, still use yellow dye, still use dyes that make their makeup vibrant. So that just throws organic right out the window when you're putting red dye in anything because it's incredibly toxic. For me personally, the less I use it, the better. And that's just how I navigate that. With that said, I still love makeup. So here we go. First and foremost, I apply a bunch of my products to my skin. Believe it or not, with my big stick, I actually put it under my eyes because I'm an older woman and I just do a base of moisture before I put my under eye concealer on. I also will do a little eye serum. I personally use our eye serum on my face, all over my face, because it's just the serum I prefer. I don't put a ton when I'm putting makeup on, just a little something to just give me a little moisture. I put it on my fine lines and wrinkles. It's pretty disgusting where I am right now, so naturally this time of year my skin's gonna be pretty puffed up because of the humidity in my town, but I just like to give it a little boost. And if I were going out into the world, I would always put sunscreen on, but today I will not be going out into the world, so my facialist would say that no matter what, even if you're in your home, you should be putting sunscreen on. So I'm starting with a concealer. I just keep it on my hand, and forgive me, I usually do this inside a mirror. So today I'm doing it inside my phone. Grandma got a ring light. Yeah, boy. Just trying to get with 2021. Yes, I'm talking about myself in the third person. So I just do a little concealer under my eye. I genetically, hereditarily have these like deep eyes. So I have pretty intense under eye bags and blueness. So I do a concealer to kind of offset that. I also, you can probably see, suffer from rosacea. So I have a decent amount of flush, a decent amount of broken capillaries, and I think in general my face looks pretty ruddy. So I also take just a tiny bit of concealer and just put it at the very top of my lips and the very bottom of my lips. I personally think this makes me look just a little more washed out, which I like. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is just bananas. So like, bear with me. I cannot and will not, honestly, use foundation. I cannot, because my skin is so sensitive that if I use foundation in any way, shape, or form, my skin's a mess. And I don't like my skin to be a mess. I like my skin to look as healthy as humanly possible. And when I'm doing my makeup, I do this technique that everyone I've ever known thinks is crazy, including all my makeup artist friends who were just like, you're just gonna sweat it off. I take a tweezer, I dab my tweezer in a little concealer, and I go through every tiny spot on my face, which is crazy, I know. Yes, I could just get a makeup sponge and do my whole cheek, but I don't want to. I like this technique, and I swear that it works. And I also like, the whole contouring trend. Not that I'm against anyone who does it, but like, I like my skin to look like my skin. I like my little sun damage, my little freckles, all my things, Sometimes I feel like when you contour, you take away all the character in your skin. I mean, I watch a lot of makeup videos and people like cover their entire face with concealer and then they add rouge back, and I'm like, rouge, I just said rouge. I'm my grandmother. They add blush back and it's like, well, what happened to the color of your natural cheeks? I'm not hating. Makeup's cool. I've always loved makeup. Just doing little tiny dots all over. Yes, don't at me. So next we're gonna move on to very simple, I think it's like a mineral powder. It's a Juice Beauty product. And I just dust over my whole face. I'm very T-zone-y. I'm Sicilian. I get greasy. I do this to get rid of my shine. I don't know about you, but shine bugs me. Next up, my favorite thing to do, and that's to do a totally outdated 90s smoky eye. I tend to start in the middle of my eye and work out because I like the shape that it gives me. It's like a wing, but it's not really a wing because I can't use liquid liner to save my life. I used to be able to do liquid liner when I was young, but not anymore. So I just start with a thin line in the middle and work to a thicker line all the way up. Pretty straightforward, pretty minimal. This is all we're doing. Here's a makeup artist I like, that French woman. You guys probably know. Maybe her name is Violet. She puts on her makeup. It's so crazy. She puts on her makeup literally like she's driving a car at the same time. It's so insanely like sloppy and wonderful. I'm less sloppy, but I'm definitely not as precise as some people. So if it gets like clumpy, don't trip because we're gonna go back and shape it. One of my biggest addictions, y'all, and I'll confess it here. I sadly can't live without a Q-tip. So once we do this, we're gonna go back in with a Q-tip and we're just gonna like very simply shape it. And I shape it to a wing, like a little baby wing. Grandma's not trying to look like she's 20. Why? I'm embracing my soon to be 50-year-oldness. It's got a 60s vibe. What I do next is I go inside my line, my lash line. I just do the half of my eye. So I went, and then we're gonna use my favorite product of all time, Face Stockholm's black eyeshadow. The best black eyeshadow that exists ever. No mica, no sparkles. It's as black as night. Said I wasn't gonna talk about products, but I'm talking about products. We're gonna go in the lash with an angled eyeshadow brush with that black. And all we're doing is we're setting that liner. And we're gonna go out to the outside of our wing. So I always follow liner with shadow. I don't do a whole dimensional vibe on my lid. I weirdly, naturally have insane colors going through my lid as it is. So I just kind of let them be what they be. We're gonna go over to the other side and do the same thing. So it's gonna look pretty solid when I do this. So we're gonna go back through, soften it up with what I told you I'm obsessed with. A Q-tip. And what I usually do is I just like fuzz up that Q-tip. I like make it a big cottony mess. So I go in and just very softly, no pulling on that eyelid, girls and boys and theys, everybody who loves eyeliner, don't pull on your eyelid. You're just smudging it up a bit. That's all we're doing. Not necessarily gonna get like consistency on both sides, and I think that's okay. It drives me a little crazy. However, you can go back through and just do a little more. Yeah, and I know there's like a million other ways to do eye makeup, but I am like 2 feet firmly planted in a 90s smoky eye, and you know what? No shame in my game. I love it. Be Tammy Faye Baker to the end. Okay, so our eyeshadow is done. And next up, we're gonna do our mascara. I forever, my whole life, thought I had no eyelashes. And then one time I went to get eyelash extensions and the lash technician was like, you have beautiful thick eyelashes. I don't know what you're doing here. And she told me basically they were straight and I had no idea. So I always thought people were crazy for using these. I was like, what is this? It's so weird, but it really helps. So I'm gonna go in. This is Shiseido, I think, but I prefer this one outside of the big metal ones because I can really just go along my lash line instead of having to do my whole eyeball at one time. I do the outside of my lashes first, and then I do the inside of my lashes. The outside I curl out, the inside I curl up. Sometimes I go in twice. Sometimes people, makeup artists, tell you to put your mascara on and then curl, but I rarely do that. We're using good old Maybelline for our mascara because it's the best. Start at the bottom, wiggle up. In general, I like my makeup to look kind of natural. Like I don't go too clumps on the mascara. Maybe in the past I went balls out on the mascara, but I don't do that anymore. When I was in my 20s, I would actually fill my entire lid with black eye makeup. I don't know how on earth I ever got that off my face. Made for some cool old photographs that I have. I do the same on both sides, really straightforward. Can't really truly get good mascara unless you make a really stupid face. So pay attention to those lower lashes. You know, don't shy away from plunking them up because they're just as dramatic as your top ones. As you can tell, I've made a bit of a mess. 3 guesses how I'm gonna fix it. Q-tips. I go in and I just clean up everything around. I don't love the way that's looking on top. I'll go in very gently, wipe it away. Just makes it a little cleaner. Big old clump over here. This next trick, believe it or not, is something I learned from Tyra Banks. I don't love Tyra Banks, but I love that I learned this trick from her. Her whole thing was like, no matter what you have on your face, like if you have a little makeup on your face, you can still go back over it with concealer. So I end my eye routine with more concealer. You do want like a good bit of your makeup gone. I just go back under and highlight. I'm using a ring light, but I'm also using natural light because personally, I find that if you're doing makeup in your house and you're just under like a synthetic light and then you go out into the world, your skin looks insane because you didn't actually do your makeup in natural light. So I always try to do my makeup in natural light so I'm getting a fair representation of what I'm putting out on the world. All right, so last we're gonna go back and add color to my lips with our little Ruby Mint lip balm. It's just a titch of color, but just adds a little like pink back into readiness I was trying to fight on my upper lip. This will just give me just a little something. That's my fresh-faced 90s smoky eye rosacea makeup routine. Hope you guys like it. Okay, bye.